Welcome to the testing room of the Parallax Corporation's Division of Human Engineering. Just sit back. Nothing is required of you except to observe the visual materials that are presented to you. We hope you find the test a pleasant experience.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Sam Harris sends his regards.
Yeah, Sam's a beautiful man.
He is. I love that guy. Elon took a while. Like, we had to start drinking.
No, that was brutal. Yeah. But that, I mean, you know how much I tried to micromanage that behind the scenes,
yes,
right? Like, I was all in your grill, trying to figure that out. And you guys basically broke all the rules I thought I laid down. And Elon did it because Elon tweeted, "I'll be on Joe's podcast Thursday night at 9 o'clock, whatever."
I was like,
okay, this is so. But I mean, I didn't want you guys to go live.
Right.
I wanted you to both have a chance to say, "Wait a minute, is smoking a blunt really the thing we want to be doing here?" So.
Love that guy. And he's one of the reasons why you're here. So, universal basic income. This is what this is all about.
Yes. Yeah, that's what my campaign for president is all about.
That's an interesting focus of a campaign and very unusual. And I mean, 4 years ago, you'd never even thought that would have a chance at all. But this is a subject that has been gaining momentum. And I made a big shift because I had my friend Eddie Wong on once, and he was the first person to bring it up. And my initial knee-jerk reaction was, get the fuck out of here. Like, universal basic income, just going to give people money, they're just going to be lazy, nothing's ever going to get done. That's a terrible idea. And then I started paying attention to the rise of AI and automation and how many jobs are going to get taken away from. And then once you see the actual numbers, it's pretty staggering.
Yeah, and that's how I got there, Joe.
Well, I love the idea, and it would be amazing if you won. I mean, it really would be fascinating. And like I said, I've done a complete 180 on the idea of universal basic income, particularly once I started talking to Elon about it, and he was saying that it's inevitable, that you're going to need something like that, that it's coming. Andrew Yang, who's running for president on this universal basic income idea, is one of the things he's doing this for is to educate people the fact that all these jobs are going away. Automation is going to take over many, many millions of jobs in this country, and we have to be prepared for all these people essentially being, technologies remove them from the workforce. They're not needed anymore. So then they have to figure out, what do I do next? And then universal basic income, he thinks, will be the bridge.
What is universal basic income?
The idea is you get a certain amount of money for free. There was a knee-jerk reaction to you.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. I was talking about universal basic income.
Okay, and you told me net neutrality was sort of nerdy.
Yeah,
if you
that's
were talking
nerdy.
about UBI, I think you
I
cleared
nerd out
up.
on this show.
I automatically knee-jerk goes, don't do that. It's bad for human nature. You give people money, they get lazy. But then I thought about it. I said, no, you're just giving them food and shelter. You give people food and shelter, you're still leaving open ambition, and you're also freeing them up for the possibility of perhaps exploring things that they would really, truly love to do, where they have money. And I think when we start dealing with automated vehicles, automated trucks, and trucking and shit, that we understand about each other. And you got to have an open mind. It's like I was saying, like, you bringing up that universal basic income, and I was like, get the fuck out of here with that. And then I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, maybe there's some... Elon Musk is fairly convinced that universal basic income is the way to go.
Yeah.
He thinks that in the future that's just going to be inevitable because there's going to be so many things that are automated. There's going to be so many people that are... How do you feel about universal basic income? Because that's a subject that comes up a lot lately. When Elon Musk is talking about these driverless cars, one of the things he's saying is that one thing that we're going to need is universal basic income. He said we're going to have to figure out some way to feed all these people that are going to get taken out of the job market because their jobs have become irrelevant.
So
universal basic income and what the benefits would be.
Yeah.
The reason being that they're worried that automation is going to kill a gigantic percentage of jobs in manufacturing, fast food, medical field, trucks, all these different things. That universal basic income might actually be something that we need at a certain point in time because so many jobs will go away and go away so rapidly. other things, if they had universal basic income. It's a really strange concept because it's one of those things that everybody has a knee-jerk reaction to. I definitely did. I heard it and I was like, what? Get out of here. You can't just give people money. People are too lazy. But the more I read about it and the more I see people who are quite a bit more educated than me on this subject, they think that it's possible that doing something like that would actually cost less money in the long run. I think universal basic income is probably a way that that's going to start happening.
Yeah.
I think that can help a lot of people where your basic needs, your food is taken care of.
And I think
the big solution to that a lot of people bring up is universal basic income.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
This has got to be a way, though. They think that a universal basic income, that giving people $13,000, though, like giving everybody well, what are your thoughts on universal basic income? Because bring it back to that with this rise of the machines. If we do have things automated, I mean, some ridiculous number of people make their living driving cars and driving trucks. Now, when those jobs are gone, I think it's millions of people, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
no, and I think it is in the States. It's the most common job for white men. I think it's something like 9 million white men are driving trucks and cars.
The problem with that is most people are like, fuck white men.
Yeah. Well,
tired of white men. We're the patriarchy.
This is Trump's base.
And whoa, like I was listening to this Alan Watts recording the other day that was on universal basic income, which is a constant subject right now. It's been going
on a meritocracy if you do that. I want to talk to you about universal basic income. What do you think about artificial intelligence and automation and the removal of all these jobs, which is a real concern that a lot of people have, and then the way to mitigate it that's being bandied about is universal basic income, that they would give you a certain amount of money. And I think the idea is that everyone would get it, even wealthy people would get it. A human being, though, is that people need some meaning. Like just giving them income, I think, is just going to, it's just my speculation, but it's going to create mass despair. Even if you provide them with food and shelter, people need things to do. So there's going to be some sort of a demand to find meaning for people. Give them occupations. Give them something, some task. It seems to be one of the critical parts of being a person. So we need things to do that we find meaning in. You know, like you were talking about, we're the only things that we know of that have meaning, that find meaning and share meaning and believe in that. We're going to need something like that. If universal basic income comes along, I don't think it's going to be enough to just feed people and house them. Yeah. They're going to want something to do.
Work is fun.
The harder we work, the more things we can buy.
Set in the future at what's equal to about 2540 AD, Huxley's fifth novel takes place in a time when most of the planet's population is being governed by a single political authority. This world state sets a population limit and conditions children from birth about how to behave through a process called hypnopedia.
Maybe the problem is planting the seed in young people at an early age that you're not supposed to just try to make money to survive. That here's your money to survive. Mm-hmm. Just what do you want? Right. What do you want? How do you think you would best fit in this world? Like, what is your contribution? What could you do?
And I think that
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta.
Everyone belongs to everyone else.
You have to respect delta.
It gives everyone a specific position within society according to their caste or rank, with the alphas and betas being higher and the gammas, deltas, and epsilons being lower.
Are you happy?
I'm glad I'm a delta. Alphas have to think things through. Betas and gammas have too much to do.
It's a civilized world filled with happy people that's contrasted with the wild and old native folks on the savage reservation.
Maybe there's something to it. Living off the land, nothing given to you, a constant struggle for survival.
But universal basic income coming whether we like it or not. And one of the things that's been discussed as a potential solution to some of the economic woes is a universal basic income. Mm-hmm. Accepting universal basic income, I believe best case scenario with universal basic income is you give people the opportunity to pursue their dreams.
Right.
Yeah. What if Do you ever look at universal basic income? Of universal basic income, and the idea is you give people X amount of dollars per month, whether it's $1,000 per month, and everybody gets it, no matter what. And by doing that, you take care of all of the burden of survival with the universal basic income. And people like that. Once universal basic income rolls around, and there's some stupid people that just ain't getting any better. Got more. I'm warming up to the idea of universal basic income. I kind of like that idea. Right, but people are worried about universal basic income, that this is the only solution. Universal basic income. And I feel like if we had some sort of like universal basic income, it's totally possible. Talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I also want to talk to other people that are proponents of universal basic income. And Elon has said that he thinks that this is going to be a real factor in the future, universal basic income. So this is a Tesla truck that we're looking at right now in a video. The surface is the possibility that we might need some sort of universal basic income to deal with what's happening with AI and automation. Like automation of... there's a real issue that's coming up right now with artificial intelligence and automation that's going to remove millions and millions of jobs just by virtue of automated cars.
We're done.
And so people are talking very seriously about universal basic income. It's a reoccurring subject that I find incredibly fascinating, and it keeps coming up. And it's been brought up even more so lately because of artificial intelligence and automated vehicles and all these different things that are happening. There's going to be an erosion of jobs, and a subject keeps reoccurring, and that's universal basic income. The idea of giving everyone a certain amount of money, whether it's $12,000 or $18,000. What are your thoughts on that? Start talking about like universal basic income, which is an interesting conversation. I lean so far left. Right. Universal health care, universal basic income,
right there.
Free school. But then I outwardly espouse left-wing ideas.
Yes.
Like universal basic income, gay rights, gay marriage, women's rights. Go down the line. Panels. How do you feel about universal basic income? Have you ever looked into that?
Oh, yeah. No, I've thought about that a lot.
It's a big thought in consideration when it comes to automation and technology and more, right? But I think things like maybe perhaps even universal basic income or pro-universal basic income, like what else do I have to do? Like what are the things? Right. I really like the idea of universal basic income. Be healthy. I mean, I've been leaning more and more towards universal basic income than anything. I think universal basic income at a certain point, like enough that you can just eat and survive, and then maybe that would open up a lot more people to pursuing dreams. I think that these jobs are going to be automated, and then universal basic income is going to supplement. It's going to give them some money, $1,000 a month. But where do they go from there? I mean, how do people exist on $12,000 a year? Like, what do they do? Like, how do they adapt to this new world? It's not something that people intuitively suspect could be a real issue either. It's one of the ones where you kind of have to like go shake people. Like, hey, look at this. This is coming. There's a cliff. We're going towards this cliff. There was another country today. I read about it on Google. Another country today that's considering universal basic income. I think there's many people that are. I mean, Elon Musk has been promoting this lately. Scotland will begin funding universal basic income experiments. Yeah, Hawaii. That's what it was. Hawaii considers universal basic income as robots seen stealing jobs. Fucking robots running on the street stealing jobs. Yeah, it's Hawaii. I think there is some real arguments to be made, and I think Elon Musk, who is, of course, a part of this automated car revolution, and he's creating these trucks that they're going to start using to haul things, and they're going to be automated, and it's going to remove a lot of jobs. And they're starting to talk about universal basic income as a real solution to that. I mean, it's entirely possible. It's certainly an argument. It's a controversial thing like universal basic income. That'll change my mind 100% in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll go, no. Now I think it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
agree with you that there is a crisis of purpose. My concern is about automation, and my concern, and obviously I haven't really studied this other than talking to Andrew Yang and talking to Elon Musk and a few other people that are proponents of universal basic income. They think that there's going to be such a massive loss of jobs in such a short period of time from people that are non-skilled laborers, and it's going to go away. There's millions and millions of jobs, and these people are not going to have anything, and then it could be chaos.
Right. So
why people are interested in universal basic income, to sort of replace money that's going to be lost, because there will be no jobs for all these people. Otherwise, we have just a mass catastrophe.
Yeah.
We're going to need something like that. If universal basic income comes along to make pottery and painting and doing all these different things that they've always really wanted to do, and their needs are met by, the universal basic income money that they receive every month.
Soon we